It's not coming home, is it? Welcome, greetings, salutations, and whatevers to another video. I suppose we better talk about England, shall we? We're going to talk about a little bit of how my feelings about the World Cup, but also just a bit about tactics as well, and a couple of thoughts on the word banter, I say in inverted commas. So obviously, spoiler alert, if you were asleep or whatever, England lost, and yeah, it was a tough one. We started well, and then we ended horribly badly. But my overall thoughts of the World Cup was I just loved it, and it wasn't even because England actually did all right. It was because I don't know. It was a really fun World Cup. There was not too many of these horrible cagey games where it scrapes a 1-0 or something like that. There was a lot of open games, and it was also nice to see different teams get there. It was I have nothing against the big teams, but it was nice to see Spain leaving and Argentina and Germany and stuff like that. So other teams were doing well, and I'm just really it's so nice. It's nice to believe in your team. It instilled a bit of belief. I went into games thinking, got a good chance here, boys, rather than going into games sort of hands over the eyes going, oh, God, what shit show are we going to see today? And that's what, for me, that it's coming home thing, you know, that everybody's been talking about and stuff. It's not like, I'm sure a few people were, but the vast majority of England fans, it was more about, oh my God, we've got a team to get behind now. This feels like a team. The team doesn't feel like a bunch of prima donna players from various big clubs that feel like going to England duty is like having detention at school, and you go, oh God, I've got fucking detention to go to. Oh God, they don't get along. There was cliquey little groups from various different teams, and I think that's Gareth Southgate's biggest strength. I don't think he's a tactical genius in any way. We'll talk about tactics in a minute, but I think that's his biggest strength. And I think that was helped by the fact he was under 21 manager and all that sort of stuff. So he knows a lot of those young players and everything. And for once, it looked like the England team really gave a shit. And that is brilliant. And a semi-final performance, I think if you'd asked any England, even the most optimistic England fan, they would have bitten your arm off for that. So we've got the third place playoff game against Belgium. So we're going to get to see the England B team versus the Belgian B team again. I couldn't give less of a shit. I could not. The third, fourth place match, for me, just doesn't need to exist. I'd love to know, you guys in the comments, let me know. Do you enjoy the third, fourth place match? Do you think it's important? Do you remember the teams that came third in the last World Cup? Like, I just think of it as an absolutely pointless match. So, yeah, but I'm just very proud. I'm very proud of the England team and Gareth Southgate and all that sort of stuff. So I want to talk a little bit about tactics. I'm in no way, shape or form saying that I am some sort of tactical genius. Although if you watch my Football Manager videos, you will realise I am. I'm not really. I think there's problems. And like I said, this is not taken away from any of the performances and stuff like that. But if you look back at the goals, for instance, I think defensively, pretty solid, considering we've got like a right winger who converted to a right back who's now playing left back. We've got a right back who's playing as centre back. It's, considering all that, I thought defensively we were pretty good. There's a couple of sloppy goals, but on the whole, especially when you're playing out from the back, there was a few hairy moments, but you have to embrace that. You have to expect that. If you're a team that ever plays out, even if you've got the world's best players, playing out from the back is sometimes a bit squeaky bum time. Sometimes a little bit of wee's going to come out because it's a bit nervy. But overall, defensively, I thought we were really good. The problem I have is going forward, and this is not so much down to performance of players, although Raheem Sterling, we'll have a separate conversation on him in a minute. I think, because how many goals? We were amazing at set pieces. That love train thing or whatever they're calling it is really good. It's not a brand new thing. I've seen it plenty of times in the Premier League, but I think it works really well where all the players line up and then they split like formation flying type thing. But so many of our goals were some set pieces, and that's fantastic. But if you look at the goals from open play, there's not that many. And I think this is not to do with players, although Sterling should have had a couple probably in the tournament. I think it's the tactics. And the biggest problem I have with the way we're set out to play is that we only really have one central midfielder, and that is Henderson. And I'm not his biggest fan. I thought he had I'm a Liverpool fan, so there's no bias here because I'm not his biggest fan for Liverpool. I think he's all right. He's a poor man's Gerrard. Well, everybody's a poor man's Gerrard, and so he's the man. And to be fair to him, he had a fantastic tournament. I've even seen Man United fans saying he was good, which that's got to be hard for them. So I respect them for saying. Even Roy Keane came out and said he was good. And I was like, fucking hell, what's going on? Alternate reality. And so we had this sort of, he was the man in the middle. He had help, obviously, in the form of Jesse Lingard and Dele Alli. But both those players are much more attacking. That's their first thought is go and attacking. Especially Dele Alli. And this is where the problem lies for me in the tactic. I think the tactic we want to play and we try to play in the World Cup does not suit having Harry Kane in the team. But the trouble is, Harry Kane is England's best striker. I don't think you could even argue that point. He is our best striker. So I think he's kind of been wedged into this into this tactic that doesn't suit him. Because if you look at the games, especially the last couple, he's basically doing a Wayne Rooney. He's playing in central midfield. He's dropping so deep because the idea of the tactic seems to be that he holds the ball up and brings others into play, like gets Raheem Sterling ahead, because Raheem Sterling seemed to be the furthest forward, and Raheem Sterling is not a striker. So we've got so many players playing out of position to fit this style. I think the tactic, if you had the players for it, I think this tactic is beautiful. It can be stunning and work long term, but because you've got a Raheem Sterling, you need this quick player that's going to be your top man. That's why Harry Kane can't play up there. Like, I'm just screaming. Like, I even tweeted out last 20 minutes of the game, was like, any chance Harry Kane could play as a striker for a bit? Just give him a go. I've already scored a few goals. It was, and it was nothing to do with Harry Kane. It was not like he was trying to drop off. That was the tactic. And then you've got Rashford and Dele Alli and stuff like that. But then, if he's dropping, then he's also in the space where you'd expect Dele Alli and that dude, Man United dude, Lingard. God, I have to fucking pull that one out, boys. Lingard are supposed to be that person. They're supposed to be the one that's sort of behind the striker, supporting the strikers and stuff. And I just didn't like it. I think, like, in an ideal world, you'd have a really rapid, quick striker, not a Raheem Sterling. You'd have a really quick striker as your top man, and you'd have somebody behind them that was a bit more still attacking, but dropping a lot deeper, good at holding up the ball, really strong lad. And Harry Kane's had to fill that role. I'm not a fan of it. And I know Raheem Sterling is the most, in this tournament, has been the most sort of talked about player, probably. Some people love what he does. Some people really think he shouldn't be in the team. And if you look at his end product, he's playing as a striker, not scored any goals. His goal-scoring record for England is absolute dog shit. He shouldn't be a striker. Factually, when you look at his stats, right? But I can see why they're playing him there. Obviously, he's very, very quick. He'll run into the channels and all that sort of good stuff. He'll occupy defenders. He'll tire defenders. The trouble is, he doesn't have a brain, a footballer's brain. He might not have a brain either, but a footballing brain. We have the same problem. Jordan Ibe came through the Liverpool system with Raheem Sterling, and they were both very good natural footballers, but they didn't have a brain cell to rub together. And Jordan Ibe's now at Bournemouth. My nephew's a big Bournemouth fan, and he says exactly the same thing about him. He could be really good, but he just doesn't have that footballing brain. And people say, the commentators all say, well, the defenders just don't know what Sterling's going to do next. The trouble is, Sterling doesn't know what Sterling's going to do next. And it's kind of lucky dip, as if he's going to beat a man. Or, half the time he'll shoot when he should have passed, and then he should have passed when he should have shot. And I feel sorry for him, and a player like that, especially that is known for not being. I know he had a good season at Man City, but I'd have scored double-figure goals for Man City last season, to be honest. But in a Liverpool shirt and in an England shirt, he doesn't have the lethal touch, and you're playing him as your main striker. Oftentimes, he was the lone striker waiting for support because Harry Kane had dropped so deep. And I don't know, there was talks about Vardy having a niggling injury the sort of most of the tournament. Because for me, if he's fit, I play Vardy instead of Raheem. It's like Southgate's looked at his team and gone, "What? Who are our best players?" Well, okay, Harry Kane's obviously probably our best player. Raheem Sterling's really good. Okay, how do I fit them into this system? And that's, that's the problem. And I think our brilliant set pieces papers over the cracks a little bit. I'm not saying we were terrible this tournament. I thought we were solid. And we were brilliant at set pieces, but so few goals from open play. If you'd taken away the set pieces or half them, it would have looked worse. And I know a lot of people are saying we had an easy route into the semi-finals, so we shouldn't be excited about that. We're England. We're crap at football. Have you not seen England in the last 30 years? We're not very good at football. So an easy route for England is not an easy route. Playing the likes of Colombia and Sweden and stuff, and is definitely not an easy route for England. We're not that good. We might have good players, but we've never been a good team. So, and yeah, of course it's easier, but then everybody needs a bit of luck. Like you need the odd goal or random shit that happens in game, a decision that goes your way and stuff like that. So I think it papers over the cracks a little bit. I think if fit, I think I'd like to have seen Vardy as the striker. If you're going to play the system where Harry Kane drops deeper, I'd like to see Vardy because he's got the same sort of. He maybe not quite as quick as Raheem Sterling or maybe as tricky, but he's got a bit more of a footballing brain and he knows how to score. He is an actual striker, and so I think that for me would have put him. I don't know how bad the niggle was or the injury or something like that. Rashford, I think, in the next few years can become that, but he's not ready. I think he was used as much as you'd expect Rashford to be. He's not a constant starter for Man United. It's not like he's setting the world alight. He had a pretty poor seasons by most standards last season, so you couldn't just chuck it. I don't think you could just chuck him in. It's just, it just felt like you took your best players and was like, oh, how am I going to get them in? Because what I'd like to see is Raheem Sterling maybe play one of those two roles, either Rashford, Jesse Lingard or Dele Alli. I'd like to see him play one of that. He could have jumped in and played that because then it's a bit more of like the position he plays at Man City. He's not an out-and-out striker. And it would have given us something different still. He still could have run at defenders and stuff like this. I thought Lingard was okay this tournament. I thought Dele Alli was pretty poor. He got himself a goal, but I thought Dele Alli was pretty poor. And I know he had an injury. Was it in the first game where he got an injury and then he was kept on the pitch for 40 minutes? Like the first game of a tournament, mate. Gareth Southgate, why didn't you just take him off? And that, I think, pulled him back a little bit. He didn't have a good tournament in my eyes. But, like I said, it's just either I think if you're going to persevere with this system, then you need to be able to drop good players or adapt it so Harry Kane can play as a striker. Yeah, he's good at holding the ball up, but Harry Kane scores goals. He scores a shit ton of goals. Put him at the end where he scores the goalie things. It seems simple to me. And like I said, this is just my view on it. I'm sure millions of people have millions of different ideas of how England can improve. But like I said, it doesn't take away from the fact that we got to the semi-finals. We had some good performances. I think more so than the performances, I think just the togetherness of the team and the team looked confident playing football. And that is quite a big deal. If you watch England regularly, they don't often look confident. They really don't. They don't. You don't sit here going, yeah, here we go, just pass it around. That's lovely. Every pass is like, ooh, ooh. It's never. It's always a bit. Oh, this is a bit scary. So I'm hoping, and I'm so pleased with Gareth Southgate that he's done so well. I think either adapt the the tactic that he wants to use. I 100% think it can work. I think it's a really nice tactic. And he made some brave decisions, like playing Kyle Walker at centre-back and all that sort of good stuff. But I think if you're going to do that, you either need to change it slightly to make Harry Kane a proper striker, or you need to not be afraid to drop big players because they don't fit your system. But overall, I'm delighted. The last thing I just wanted to talk about is the word banter. The word banter. Now, banter should be light-hearted, poking fun at rival fans for a laugh. Nothing horrible. You're not telling them to die of cancer or shit like that. Banter is, I have tons of banter with Man United and Everton fans on Twitter and in the comments and stuff, and neither party comes out with feeling pissed off or angry at the other person, because it's just, I had a guy, a Man United fan, and we were posting random pictures. I said we won it 5 times picture. He posted a picture of Steven Gerrard slipping over, and I posted a picture of the Glaziers and all that. And that was funny. And I'm sure we both came out of it fine. What I'm really seeing more and more of is people, excuse my French, I don't often say this word, people being cunts on Twitter or comments or YouTube. And then when the other person gets upset because that person is being an absolute knobhead, they'll go, it's just banter, mate. It's just banter. It's almost like that word has become an excuse for being a dickhead. Right? That's not how banter works. Banter is you have a laugh with the other guy and you both come out of it going, good one, and go on your merry way. When it gets to the stage that you're just insulting random people or insulting someone and they're really pissed off, that's not banter. That's just common sense. You're being a dickhead. Right? So, if you're going to post some random shit on Twitter, and whatever it's about, it doesn't have to just be about football, just general stuff. If you're going to do that sort of stuff, before you post it, just have a look at it and go, is this banter, or am I just being a rude, arrogant twat? Sometimes there's a fine line, but just have a look and go, okay, is this funny and silliness and poking fun, or am I just being rude to someone? Because it just seems to become this excuse for being a bit of a dickhead. We all know a bunch of dickheads in our lives, and yeah, it's just not. Yeah, I just sort of saw it on Twitter a lot. Obviously, after the England game, I'm in England. I'm English, living in I'm English, right? Being an England fan, living in Northern Ireland, right? I'm used to banter. Trust me, right? So. And I'm happy for people to poke fun at England getting knocked out or whatever like this and stuff. But when you're just going at it, like you're really going at people, as if it was like I was playing and I fucked up or something. And I'm like, hang on, I'm just a supporter of the team, mate. I'm just trying to have a nice time. Just take a second to look at what you're doing. That's all I'm saying. And I'm not directing this at anyone in particular. I'm just sort of saying, and I saw so much of it. And Dr. Benji even tweeted the same thing. He's just like, I'm unfollowing so many people tonight because obviously he's a target. We're both YouTubers, so therefore, if people that are from, and to be fair, it's 99% Scottish, Irish, Northern Irish, and Irish people, which I'm happy. I'm happy to banter with a Scottish person about football or whatever it is and all that sort of stuff, but when you're really reveling in it and you're really trying to twist the knife into somebody, that's not banter. You're just being really rude to somebody. And Dr. Benji was the same. He tweeted out something about, I'm just going to go on an unfollow spree of people tonight. I'm just going to start clicking off because it's just not worth the time. Have a bit of banter, but know where the line is. That's all I'm saying. So there we go. There's my World Cup roundup. Not really, just the last game. But hope you took something from that. Let me know what you think about the tactics, what you change. I'm not saying I'm right. I'm just saying that's the way I see it. But let me know what you think of that, and also let me know about the 3rd, 4th place thing, because I'd be really interested if anyone cares. I might even put a little straw poll if I remember. Does anyone care about the 3rd, 4th playoff match? Thank you very much for watching, guys. Me ramble on. The thing is, I put this background up, right? This England flag, right? I am very patriotic. I like being English, and I like this flag, and I like the Union Jack. And nowadays, it's taken on a weird meaning, just flags in general. You see people with flags, you see people with an England flag, and you don't think, oh, cool, patriotic. You think, is he a member of UKIP? Or is he an absolute knobhead? Is he a racist dickhead? It's like they're trying to sort of take this flag. So as I was putting it up, I was like, God, I look a bit like a UKIP member. And it's sad. We should be proud of where we come from, and we should enjoy our flags and stuff. So, you know, kiss the flag. There you go. Thank you very much for watching, guys. I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.